Bitcoin continues to chop sideways, but trending downwards, now trading right near 62,000, and altcoins are not loving it. Is this just a boring market? Is this that months and months of consolidation that we have to look forward to before it's up only in the fall? Could the top be in? Well, maybe the charts can tell us, and I've got my favorite co-host for Wednesday afternoons, Trading Alpha, Mr. Wick himself. We're going to dig into the charts, take a look, and figure it out together. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of Wall Street. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and fix your hair, or do whatever you got to do. I literally got off a flight, ran home. I walked into my office approximately 4 minutes ago. Obviously missed the show this morning. I was on a flight back from the scenic territory of Puerto Rico, down there checking it out, talking to all the crypto people. Good trip, but needless to say, haven't been in front of the charts or in front of the computer, missed the stream this morning. So excited to have made it back in time to talk now. I'm going to go ahead and bring on Wick. What's up, man? How are you? You were on vacation too.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I just got back a couple of days ago, and I've been gone for about a week and a half in California. So, yeah, eager to get back on the chart, Scott, and thanks for making it today, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I don't know if it's your side or mine. You're sounding a little glitchy, but maybe the people in the audience will tell me. But I'd say we just dig in. We start with Bitcoin, take a look at everything else, and figure it out. As I said, let me go ahead and bring up your chart. Show us what we're looking at here.
Okay, so let's start with the daily chart of Bitcoin, and I think that's what we should watch right here. And if you guys are familiar, and first of all, Scott, can you hear me? Am I coming through clear?
Yeah, you're good. You're good now. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So last one of the few times that we had this show, I went over stage analysis, and stage analysis has 4 stages. Okay, it has your stage 1 basing. Let me get there, which is this right here. This is after we've had the bear market. It stages a base. Then it goes into your stage 2 uptrend. Okay, this is the best part of a bull market. Then it goes into your basing again, and then it can possibly go into another stage 2, or it can go into a stage 4. Why am I telling you that? Because I want to talk about swing trades. Okay, so this is not investment trading, but let's talk about swing trading, because that's what's having the dynamic change right now. So if you look at this pattern right here and we compare it to the chart above us, you can see that this was our stage 1 basing. Okay, then we went through a stage 2 uptrend. You can see I label it by a 2. This is this area right here. This is what you want to catch as a trader, okay? Then we start going into a sideways stage 3 basing pattern. And the way that we define this, if you guys missed the episode where we talked about this, is I expect the green dots to stop, to go red, to go green, almost like a Christmas tree as it's oscillating below and above the track line, okay? This is how we identify stage 3. In stage 3, we normally get a little bit cautious, okay? So if you are in swing trades to me can be trades that last days to, let's say 3 months is probably my maximum, but you got to define yours. If you're in a swing trade and we go through stage 3, this is where you consider taking a little bit of profit on that swing trade, okay? And waiting for another setup, because what we're seeing now is we're seeing the price action start to break down a little bit, okay? And this is getting into your stage 4 area, this one right here. Okay, so it's not good, but this is the thing. This is a daily chart for swing trades. This does not dictate the entire bull market. Okay, this is just not short-term trades, but we call it medium-term trades. Okay, for these people, and I assume that crypto, likes to have, every day we're bullish and bearish. So if you look at the swing trade, it's a good kind of outlook to have. And we see that we are rejecting from the track line again. So what I want to see before I get into more trades, especially into Bitcoin, is I would like to see basically us break above this track line and get green dots again. Okay, that's what I'd like to see. And this could go further. We don't know, but right now we're just cautious, Scott.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So what does that mean in your opinion for altcoins? Because that's what we're kind of, dipping into here. We used to have it where Bitcoin kind of went sideways and altcoins popped off. But actually, Bitcoin dominance hit a multi-year high just a few weeks ago and has chopped around. So, that kind of tells us that altcoins have certainly not outperformed in general outside of the few that have gone nuts here and there. And certainly the meme coin market, which has cooled off to some degree.
Correct. And I think the key word there was few, right? So a few of them are performing and the rest are really not performing that well, relatively speaking. Okay, so let's jump into a few of them. Let's start with costs. Okay, so if you guys are looking for a setup, it's really hard to find right now, but I found you one. Okay, again, I think this is also going to be dictated by what Bitcoin does. So keep that in consideration when you're looking at this. But we do have the same cycle, right? Your stage one basing, we get our squeeze shading, breakout arrow helps us get in and locate those stage two uptrends. We're green, we're holding as long as there's green dots. The dots stop. We start going sideways here. Here we have our stage four, okay? We started to base again. Nope, continued stage four. As when we get into stage four, as long as we're below the track line, we don't get any long positions at all, especially while it's red. But now look what's happening now. It's actually turned green on costs, and we do have our first green dot that's breaking out here, okay? So this is a possible setup, but again, I gotta let you guys know that you gotta keep Bitcoin in mind because Bitcoin is looking like it's a little bit weak, and we want some confirmation there. So you can get into costs, you know, if that's what you want to do. In my opinion, I'd wait for Bitcoin to get a little bit bullish before I look at these ones that are now showing relative strength, because once Bitcoin picks up, the assets that are showing relative strength now will most likely outperform with the market.
Yeah, that looks really good. Like I said, I hadn't really taken a look at many charts, but that's a big pop.
Yeah, that's a big pop, and especially since everything is falling right now, right? That shows really, really good relative strength here in costs. So that's one that I picked up that I think could be going into a stage two. Again, the only thing that could delineate the stage two uptrend, in my opinion, would be a bigger pullback in Bitcoin, which we're not certain of just yet.
Right.
Moving on to the next one here, Render. Render has shown great relative strength. And the reason why I'm bringing this up here is because I also want to teach you guys a little bit how to read these charts, not only to gain entries, but also how to exit at the right time. And I thought this was a beautiful chart because I posted this one this week. We did have a bottom signal, and I was pointing out the differences between the bottom signals. As you can note, none of these bottom signals here have any green dots. And we really want the trend, because to understand it, the bottom signals are pattern signals, right? They're looking for bottom patterns. And what you want after a bottom pattern to confirm is you want the trend to then confirm it. Well, there's nothing better in trend analysis than the dots, because they locate it on a micro scale to confirm it. So there you have your B, and it's confirmed by the green dots, and we had a really great move, okay? But if you ever find yourself in this setup and you've grabbed our green dots off of the Bs and you're in that uptrend, you want to wait and see when the dots start to end on the setup, right? And we can see that it ends right here. And a lot of times this will play out and you can see it get even worse. So if you didn't exit right here, you would wait and see that we started to get a squeeze shading. What does this tell us, Scott? As we both know, this tells us that an extreme move is coming. I mean, look at the last time we had it, it caused an uptrend. Last time we had a downdraft, it caused a big downtrend. And now we're finally seeing another one here play out on Render, okay? We do have a red dot, so we're very cautious. We're not in this position. But you know, make sure that you're really not in it if we do break to the downside like it might be doing. All right, so this is how I kind of analyze my positions. And again, a lot of times before you see the squeeze shading or a breakdown into stage 4, you will see the green dots stop printing. Okay, so that's just to teach you guys some risk management here on assets that you might be in profit in, how to know how to get out of them a little bit earlier.
Perfect. What else you got?
Okay, so here, I can't even pronounce this, Scott. Do you know how to pronounce this?
I think it's iOS. I've actually owned this since the entire last cycle.
Have you really?
And which was great because, you know, I held it. I had sold some in the last cycle, made a great profit, and then kind of held the moon bag, rode it all the way down, and then have traded around it on the way back up. It's
okay, great.
It's riding the AI wave. So like I left it for dead.
Okay, good.
iOS, yeah.
Well, I'm glad I got someone to help me pronounce that. So let's we'll look at this, what's happening here, but let's first read left to right because I think that the members learn best with that. So as you can see, we went through our stage 1 basing. A lot of times in those basings, you don't buy them, but you look for the squeeze shading, right? And then the breakout arrow that lets you know that volatility is being released. And again, here we are riding the green dots, okay? The green dots do stop over here with a red dot, but we do get our next setup, which is to test the track line and then have a green dot reaction off of the track line. So this would be our second entry here. Okay, hold while there's green dots, and look what happens. We start to go sideways. If you guys can pinpoint it now, this is your stage 3 basing, okay? We get a squeeze shading like we usually do at the start and the finish, and then we get a draw to the downside, right? And the green dots have stopped. But now look what we're having. We're finally getting those bottom signals after we've had a little bit of a stage 4, and we are now seeing green dots after a bottom signal, and it's also breaking above the track line, which also happens to be a good resistance line for the close. So we have closed above it. So again, this is a very, very valid setup, but I'm going to say the same thing I said on costs, right? Is that even though this is valid setups, you got to be a little bit cautious because the overall market is not strong. However, if the market picks back up, Scott, I think this one and costs will outperform because they're relatively so strong even right now.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I was looking at that chart because I actually looked at it the other day and drawn this kind of area here as support, and that's kind of where it's bounced as well. So my trading alpha is white, guys. I'm sorry. I made gray and blue dots because it's just how my charts always look. But I mean, what a signal it gave you down here, by the way.
Okay, yeah. So absolutely. So moving on to the next one here. This one is not a setup, Scott, but I wanted to talk about it because, again, I think that I think that this market will pick up. We will see some legs, especially later on into the year. I think it'll be very strong, in my opinion. And if I'm right, I think that you definitely want to own one of the stronger meme coins that's been happening this cycle, and that is WIF. So if we talk about it, what we want to look for versus what's happening, right? Because what's happening, you don't want to buy it. But I do see this as an overall base, okay? I'm seeing this as a base. So you have two options here. Either the base breaks out above this area right here. So for those of you that are watching, you might want to copy this area on your chart. If it breaks above here, you will have your stage 2 part 1. If it breaks above here into highs, then of course stage 2 part 2, it gets even more bullish. But that's what I would look for, if you guys did want to hold WIF as one of your meme coins in your bag, which is what I'm thinking. I'm not in WIF anymore, but again, if it breaks above these levels, I will start averaging in again. So I wanted to give you guys a setup possibly to watch for as well with Dog WIF Hat.
Yeah, I think it's important that people remember when you give a setup, it's if something happens, then you might do something. It's not buy it right now.
100%. That's why I talk so much about confirmations, guys, is, you always want a confirmation. I don't play news events either. I think news events, you sit on the side, and again, you wait for a good reaction. If anything is going to change systemically in a news event or with Bitcoin, it's going to go on for a while. So you don't need to catch the exact bottoms. You just need to catch the bulk of the move. All right, Scott. So that's what I had for crypto. I did want to point out the NASDAQ because I think a lot of people are playing the NASDAQ, especially with Raw Powell talking about it. And we do have a really good pattern here that I do like. And if we break above this level here, which is what it's testing, I think that is a long entry right here for the Qs as well for the NASDAQ. I don't know. Do you play equities at all still, Scott?
I've done it less. I mean, I still, dollar cost average in and passively invest for retirement and stuff, but I have not been trading it at all. Like I find it as much, I know that I shouldn't say it, but I feel like the NASDAQ should theoretically be toppy. I'm not saying like forever, but like the valuations are so crazy that I can't drive myself to like invest in what I view as overvalued tech right now. But I do think it does look like it'll keep going.
Absolutely.
I guess
right.
I'm in the Warren Buffett camp in that.
He's choosing the fundamentals, guys. That's okay. I'm with you. I'm also a bit cautious, right? That's why I'm watching the technicals first, and I would like to see a close into highs. I think that would be very strong. If we don't get it right, then obviously the fundamentals, the technicals are going to confirm that. I'd also like to use this chart, why I picked this chart as well. And again, this is the macro chart. It's the weekly chart of the NASDAQ to also show you guys that it does also, our tools do work on stocks very well. Here you have our double bottom pattern identified by your Bs. And guess what? We get our green dots afterwards, which confirms the bottom. And if that wasn't enough, we get our stage 1 shaded squeeze that we always get to start our stage 2s to get you in that move, right? And then for those of you that are watching, some of our members already, I want to give you another piece of alpha here. So you know how we use our Bs with the green dot confirmations? Well, they also work when you get a reversal bar, right? If you don't have a green dot, you get a reversal bar, which is our turquoise ones for bullish reversals. And then you get a green dot. That is another setup. And you can see I've even outlined the channel that was born through this reversal bar setup. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out, Scott. And again, I'm not bullish on the NASDAQ yet. Again, but if I see green dots above this resistance and into all-time highs, I'm definitely going to grab another position.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. So now do we tell them about trading alpha? Because now we cooked through it.
Yeah. So guys, we've been talking, Scott and I've been talking, and I've extended the sale longer than I've extended any sale ever for trading alpha. And I think it's time it's going to come to an end here just for a while. So if you are interested, today is going to be the very last day that you can get 25% off of Trading Alpha. And if you want to do that, just go into the comment section on the video here for Scott's videos. You will see a link. And then when you go and check out and choose the Alpha Bundle yearly, and make sure to click and to type in 25 off. If you don't put that in, we cannot give you the discount later. But this is the last day to get the discount. And that's what we wanted to tell you guys. It's ending today.
Yeah, man. I've got to tell you, like, it helps find bottoms, but it's given me a lot of confirmation in the last, I'll say, 2 months that we are likely topping and that things were going to potentially get very sideways for a while.
Yeah, it does a good job at giving people confidence. I have people that don't even trade that often that tell me that the biggest thing that they've got from trading alpha is the confidence and comfort in kind of knowing what's happening whenever the price is getting volatile, right? So definitely some value in that, even if you are an investor. And in my opinion, if you are an investor, there's better ways than to just hodl. I think that sitting through 80% drawdown bear markets is something that no one should choose to do. But that's just a matter of opinion.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, man. Well, we both we made it off quote unquote vacation. I was in Puerto Rico for work, but you know.
Okay. I was in California.
Spent a lot of time with Peter Schiff, actually.
Did you really?
Spent a lot of time with yeah, such a good guy. You guys wouldn't know, but he's such a good guy.
I've always thought that behind the scenes, Peter's a pretty cool guy. I've always thought that he's different from what we kind of gather on X.
He's cool, man. He's got young kids. He's living he's like the king of Dorado in Puerto Rico. He's been there for like a decade. He's a great guy. Really
cool. Really cool.
Be surprised. Just hates Bitcoin, which is okay. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on, Scott. I mean, I really appreciate it. And I guess we'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah, man. See you guys next week. And of course, I'll be back on the regular schedule for the rest of this week. All right, everybody, from me and Wick. Peace out, guys. Bye.
That's dope.